Hi gang. Last time that we were talking about the steering on this, I was having to modify the existing steering in order to clear around the exhaust manifold. Now what I've done here, I didn't nearly need to cut this quite so short, but I noticed as soon as I took the sleeve off that this is actually does have an area that's good to clamp to underneath that. I have actually drilled and ended up tapping this. There's actually a seated position in the solid rod here, so that will actually seat down inside the rod even further than what it currently is. Right now it's just for mock-up, so it still needs a little bit of work. And then down towards the bottom, I actually have this nifty double joint. Now, it remains to be seen on if I'm going to have a lot of binding with this or not. Right now it seems like I'm not going to, but the biggest reason that I'm trying to use this is because I'm actually using a manual Nissan Rogue rack. And a lot of people will say, why are you using a Nissan Rogue rack? And the reason why, and as Eric can tell you as well at performancevh.com, the Rogues, as well as many modern Nissans, come with a manual rack from the factory. They're about 17.5 to 1 as far as their steering ratio goes, so not super hefty. That's actually pretty close to what a lot of road racing racks that I've read up on have. But it's actually electric assist on the column. Now I don't have an electric assist column here, but I'm a big guy, pretty decent sized arms. I've driven cars with manual steering before, and this probably shouldn't be that big of a deal, especially when rolling, as long as I don't get absurd wheels and tires on it. And right now, it's just 350Z wheels and tires. So my main issue that I'm going to run into is how much this ends up binding, because the angle actually changes quite a bit. Now, essentially, as it comes through the firewall, it comes through straight like that. Then it actually has to go through between the last two cylinders and down to the actual steering. So it's not a super extreme angle. It's just the double joint really seems to help with making it not as extreme of an angle. Now this is just a smidge larger than what the actual modified shaft is that's going for the steering. I do have some collars that will fit in here to act as bushings, but essentially the same process that I used up top here, where a bolt is going to go in and seat, is what I'm going to use for the rest of this. If you have a better solution, just leave it in the comments. But after a great deal of research, it seemed like the best solution for about anything was to just go ahead and drill and tap. Leave enough of space so that the actual heavy-duty screws, or I guess this is, bolts, will actually end up seating and they won't shear off. Now, in an impact, if the impact is hard enough, all bets are off, because this is not a stock OEM design system, but I need it to be overbuilt essentially for safety reasons. So I'm taking my time, and if it requires two, if I feel better with two, I'll put in two. But for right now, I think one is probably going to be enough, at least to get the car rolling down the road to test. And I'm definitely going to make sure that the car is safe before I end up taking it to any track days or anything like that. Anyways, just wanted to show that. That's not a super complicated system, but it's also a lot of work to get just to this point, even though it looks very simple. And it's still going to be a lot of work even when I get it put in the car, to make sure that there's no binding, that it feels consistent, and that it actually moves the car in a consistent fashion, especially at any sort of speed, because the ultimate goal is to have this be able to go out for a track day, even if it's just an autocross session, and then return home in the evening to be able to be just taken out on a date. I mean, it's not a super special car. It is a slick top, but let's be honest, there's a lot of them on the market right now, and what makes it special is just that it's a slick top with a VH. So if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments. I'll answer them best I can, but for the most part, other than the VH, the car is relatively stock. I'm just upgrading, like with the steering, whenever it seems like something needs upgrading. Once again, thanks for watching.